Hey guys, it's Ash, and I'm going to be updating you guys on the current meta tier list for the new month of September. Guys, we've got 17 new balance changes, 8 new hypercharges, a couple new brawlers in Mina and Ziggy. We're going to be talking about all of these changes and how they're impacting the current meta right now, as well as the predicted values of how these new hypercharges and new brawlers are going to impact the meta. We're going to be talking about all of that as we rank all the brawlers in the game from the worst at 1 star all the way to the best at 6 stars. Let's start off with the 1-star brawlers. These are the worst brawlers in the current meta. We have Sam, Pam, Cole, Poco, Edgar, and El Primo. Guys, a lot of these brawlers really lack the range like Sam, Edgar, and El Primo. And worst of all, you just have better other options, other tanks and assassins that just offer so much more value and versatility. And then you have Pam and Poco that are just struggling so much. Pam still doesn't have a hypercharge, and now you've got these other powerful hypercharge supporters. You got Byron and Jae-Yong that are gonna be getting hypercharges, as these brawlers are just gonna continue to fall in the meta. Next, at 2 stars, these brawlers are a little better but are also really struggling in this meta, especially because there are oftentimes other brawlers that offer more. You've got Rosa, Chuck, Maisie, Lola, Surge, Dynamite, Sprout, Mortis, Jesse, Grum, Max, Shelly, Ems, and Pearl. Guys, Ems and Pearl moving down a lot in the meta. Even though Ems got some nice buffs, she's still struggling, just gets outclassed heavily. A lot of these brawlers in the 2 stars are simply just outclassed. Like a brawler like Ems, why would you want to use Ems when Ember is just a better brawler, better hypercharge, better range, DPS, oftentimes just a better option. Then you've got Shelly, who moved up a little bit in the meta thanks to her dash gadget replenishing her ammo. But the problem is, if you're going to use this gadget, you're going to lose her range ability, that threat with Clay Pigeon's gadget. So she hasn't really been able to move up much. Then you have these other brawlers that are also getting outclassed. You got Max, who's continuing to get even more outclassed by Jae-Yong, who now is getting a hypercharge on top of being a healer and speed supporter. Is more versatile brawler than Max. And then of course you've got a brawler like Maisie, who's still struggling in the meta. And worst of all, we have a new brawler coming out, Mina, who is basically just a better version of Maisie. She has great damage, great range. On top of that, she's also got a super powerful super ability, that Hurricane and the stun. That's just overall better form of Maisie. But not just that, on top of that, she has also got mobility and dash. We're gonna talk about Mina more at the top tier soon, but you can see why a lot of these brawlers in the 2-star are just so heavily struggling right now. They're just so heavily outclassed by other brawlers that just offer more. At 3 stars, these brawlers are a lot more balanced, not very weak and not too powerful. We've got Spike, Nanny, Tick, Miko, Penny, Eve, Colette, Nita, Sandy, Jackie, Fang, the new brawler Trunk, 8-Bit, Gale, Ali, Leon, Chester, and Griff. So we got to talk about all of these changes, guys, particularly Trunk. Now Trunk is getting a hypercharge, which is going to be great, and he's also now has a tank trait. So now he's able to actually charge his super from taking damage, and that way he can approach targets that he is unable to because of his really short range. So even though he's got a hypercharge and a tank trait on top of that, he's still not going to be seeing much of a rise in the meta because of his weaknesses, and that is his range. He just gets shut down too easily because of that. And then we've got Griff and Chester moving down in the meta a lot. Just you have better tank counter options, guys. So many tank counters have gotten buffed in this recent update. We're gonna be talking about them soon. So first of all, we gotta talk about Gale. He's got a nice damage increase, so he's a lot better right now. More damage makes him a better tank counter again, better assassin counter, something this meta needs because it's a very hyper aggressive meta, guys. We've got Leon moving up as well. He's got a nice projectile damage buff at max range, so whenever he's shooting from far away, he's gonna deal significantly more damage, guys. It went from 30% to 35%, 5% of the max damage, which means basically equates to about 17% more damage from long distance. So this is gonna make him a much better brawler against sharpshooters like you're gonna encounter like a Piper, Mandy, Belle, Brock on like Knockout or Bounty, for example. Leon's gonna be a lot better into those matchups now, guys. So he's moved up quite a bit now, all the way to 3 stars. He used to be 1 star, really struggling in the meta. And then 8-bit also is seeing a rise in the meta as well, thanks to a nice damage buff. He's got a nice 7% damage buff, which is great because he's got one of the best DPS in the game, especially if you combine him with the damage booster star power, guys. Allie's been moving down a lot in the meta right now. Ever since her reload nerf and damage nerf, she's not as powerful anymore, but she can be a deadly last pick against low health composition. She's still serviceable in the meta, just not as overpowered. But most of these brawlers, guys, are very niche dependent as well. They're great in certain areas but struggle in other areas, like Colette, great in heist but just gets outclassed everywhere else. You've got Miko, who's also primarily played competitively in heist just for base diving, but he can also be great against low health brawlers. Most of these brawlers, guys, very niche dependent. You got Eve on, basically you got to use her in water maps. Now moving on to the 4-star brawlers. These are the A-tier brawlers. They're very good and very versatile, meaning you can use them in many game modes and maps. We've got Daryl, Belle, Piper, Melody, Barley, Mandy, Barry, Rico, Buzz, Stu, Brock, Janet, Meg, Frank, Mo, BB, Clancy, Larry and Lawrie, Willow, and Bull. Guys, we gotta talk about these new hypercharges, particularly Larry and Lawrie. Now, a lot of you guys may be surprised. You may be surprised to see Larry and Lawrie at 4 stars with such a powerful hypercharge. It is a very powerful hypercharge, but the main issue is it takes 27 hits to charge, guys. It takes an unbearably long time to get. This is equivalent to about 3.5 supers that you'd have to get with Larry and Lawrie just to get that one hypercharge. And that one hypercharge is not as game breaking as other hypercharges like Lily's or Kenji's. So even though it's really strong, it's not really going to move them to the top because you're most likely going to get that hypercharge like the end of a game, like maybe in Brawl Ball right at the end of overtime or something. Or most of the time you may not even get that hypercharge if you're not feeding off the enemy, if they're not bad enough to give you 27 hits. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Larry and Lawrie, they're going to move up just tad bit, but not enough. Clancy got some great buffs. He's not going to be able to upgrade a lot quicker now. Being able to upgrade quicker, he's again a great counter to tanks and assassins, particularly the combos that run double tanks or a tank plus an assassin. Like for example, if they're running a BB plus a Kenji, well, Clancy's going to be really good into that sort of matchup, guys, especially with these new buffs. Then you got BB, of course. She's not going to get constant knockback, and that's made her into a much better tank now. Constant knockback means constant annoyance for the other team to deal with. She's a great aggro brawler now on top of that, and because of this, other brawlers like Bull has been moving up and down in the meta. So right now he's trending down a bit, mainly because now he has to compete with another brawler like BB, who's, you know, at the moment very popular choice. So many people are running BB right now in Masters League. Then you got Willow moving down a bit as well. Artillery brawlers just haven't been able to be as competitive right now in this meta. Still very aggressive. So many counters right now in this meta. So Willow just still struggling. And now you have Larry and Lawrie and Juju getting powerful hypercharge. We gotta talk about Juju soon as well. So Willow has a lot more to compete with. Now moving on to the 5-star brawlers. These are the brawlers that you are very commonly gonna see pro players and top ranked players play pretty much all the time. You've got Carl, Jean, Buster, Angelo, Gray, Amber, Bo, Lily, Doug, Tara, Squeak, Lou, Mr. P, Rubbs, Ash, RT, Shay, Draco, B, Otis, Charlie, Gus, Finx, Juju, Meeple, Crow, and the new brawler, Ziggy. Now, the new brawler, Ziggy, is gonna be really strong because his super is almost uncounterable, insane area control with it. But his main weakness is his DPS. He doesn't deal as much damage, so he is weak to aggro brawlers, particularly assassins that can rush into him, or tanks that also can rush into him. So great brawler, gonna be a very strong brawler that I'm predicting, but most likely not in the broken 6-star tier. Then we've got these other brawlers. We gotta talk about Otis, guys. Otis got so many buffs. He's got a health buff and a significant damage buff. Does a lot more damage now. 1000 damage per shot. So he does 3000 damage if you can deal all 3 of those projectiles hitting on the enemy per shot, per ammo. That's crazy. So he's an excellent counter to tanks and assassins right now. That's why he's moved up to the 5-star. Charlie has been trending down a bit, particularly because of these other tank counters that have been trending up. And then Gus also, he's gonna be competing a lot more now, especially when Byron and Jae-Young's hypercharges come out. They're gonna be the superior support brawlers after that, guys. Those hypercharges are gonna be game changing. We're gonna talk about more about them very soon. Now Finx has moved up to 5-star. At first, most pros were expecting him to move to 6 stars, but the problem is they nerfed his supercharge rate, and now it takes a really long time to get. You need like 18 perfect shots landed by Finx to charge his hypercharge. The worst part about Finx's super is it doesn't really chain his super very well, right? You have other supers, like for example, if you use Terra's super very well, guess what? You're also charging your hypercharge, right? But the problem with Finx is you use your super, sure, you get the projectile speed increase, but it doesn't really make his super or his hypercharge charge any faster. So it's still gonna take a really long time to charge. He's strong. He's gonna be really strong with hypercharge. S tier, 5-star, but most likely not in the top 6 tier. Then we got Juju. Juju's gonna also move up a bit with her hypercharge. Stronger turret, of course. Grisker's gonna have more health, more damage. Main issue is it's gonna take about 13 hits to charge. Not as bad as Lawrie and Lawrie that require 27 shots, but Juju's definitely gonna be moving up in the meta. Then we got Meeple. Now Meeple does so much damage, guys, through walls, and then his hypercharge ability allows him to also walk through walls, and best of all, your teammates can also walk through those walls or water if you're going to use Meeple's hypercharge. So a lot of people are going to be underrating this hypercharge, guys. It's really strong, really great support hypercharge as well, and best of all, for a single target brawler, it only takes about 12-13 hits to get that hypercharge. That's the best part of it. You're not gonna wait too long to get it. Now we gotta talk about the 6-star brawlers. These are the brawlers that are currently dominating the meta and will be dominating when they're released. So a brawler like Mina, so broken, got the range. She's a damage dealer with great range, like a marksman. And on top of that, she's also an assassin because she can dash. She's got mobility on top of that, so she's absolutely broken, especially with her super. She's also got a gadget that can allow her to chain supers easily. So broken. Definitely gonna be the best brawler in the game when she's released, if they don't emergency nerf her. Then we got Kaze continuing to be at the top. Hank, Kenji, Bonnie, Lumi, Cordelius, and Kit still at 6 stars with their super powerful abilities and fast charging hypercharges, like a Bonnie and their hypercharge charge really fast, or really game-changing hypercharges like Kenji's very uncounterable hypercharge super. And now you've got another very uncounterable hypercharge, and that is Ollie. Ollie's hypercharge gonna absolutely break the game, guys. It's so easy to tell why. Just look at this. He's just gonna go in on the enemy, increase range of his super, and on top of that, he can also jump over walls. This is just above and beyond so broken. There's no counter for this, right? And then you also got a gadget that you can also use for another jump to avoid damage. It's just no counter, basically. So it's instantly gonna be so powerful. But the main thing is it takes about 20 hits to charge. So that's the main challenge. But on top of that, guess what? Ollie's got tank trait, and tank trait charges hypercharge. So it's not gonna really take that long. Like a brawler like Larry and Lawrie, it's not gonna take as long for Ollie to get his hypercharge. Then you've got Byron and Jae-Yong getting their new hypercharge that we've been talking a lot about. The best thing about Byron's hypercharge is it only takes 9 hits to get. So you're gonna get about 3 or 4 hypercharge opportunities with Byron in the game. That increased mobility, increased health, increased heal, increased shield with Byron. Now Byron's main issue in the meta was that he was weak to aggro brawlers, right? Aggro assassins or tanks that can rush him. He wasn't the safest gem carrier. Well, now guess what? Now he is, because now he's got more power, more heal and shield. So he's gonna be a really uncounterable brawler right now in the meta after after that Hypercharges release. Same thing with Jae-Yong. Even more speed, even more power for a support brawler. He's just gonna be at the top of the meta as well as a support. So there you guys have it, guys. The complete breakdown of the meta as well as the predictions for the upcoming Hypercharges and new brawlers coming in the game soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and also comment below what you guys think of the current meta. Thank you guys so much for watching.